Joining me from the Milken Institute Global Conference, Terry Duffy, the CME's Executive Chairman and President. Good to see you here.
Thanks, Rhonda. Thanks for having me.
We know, of course, there is a renewed focus over the last couple of weeks on what's happening in the futures industry since we've had an arrest in connection with a flash crash. Tell me what the CME is thinking right now as you learn some of the latest developments.
So, there's a couple things, Rhonda. As far as the arrest or whatever you want to refer to it, I'm not sure exactly the legalities of what they've arrested him on. I think they're holding him on bail right now for extradition. I don't know all of that. I can tell you a couple different things. Some are saying that the futures market was potentially the cause of the flash crash. I can tell you that on that day, May 6, 2010, all of the information, every trade, every market data, we had to our regulator by 10 p.m. that night. On the security side of business, which nobody seems to be talking about since this man has been discovered, no one's explaining about the 70 different portals of liquidity, the fragmentation of the equity world when people were trying to trade certain stocks that particular day. When you saw people trying to trade Accenture, for an example, and Accenture went to a penny. Why? Because of stub quoting. So when you see certain things happen on that particular day, so you had Greece was melting down, you had the market already down significantly at that particular point, you see stocks going to a penny, people really don't know what's going on, but they blame the bright shiny object in the room, which is the futures market. Why? Because we had all the information ahead of time before anybody else did. So as it relates to this gentleman, Mr. Sorrow, again, I'm not going to sit here and defend him one way or another, but I will tell you, they said that we communicated with him on May 6, 2010. What's important about that is we did communicate with him, but it had nothing to do with his trading activity of May 6, 2010. We were communicating with him about activity from 08 and 09, the way he was entering some orders into the marketplace. We issued him a letter of warning and told him that's not the way we enter orders in the marketplace. And if you do enter them into orders that way, you have to make sure that you're going to honor those orders. So obviously that activity ceased after the letter went out. Call it bad timing on our part, but we did not speak to him about his activity of May 6, 2010. In fact, everybody looked at his activity thereafter, and again, both the government agency, being the CFTC, and us, said the futures market were not the cause of the flash crash. So there are a little bit of, I don't want to call it misinformation, but I think it's clarification of some information that came out.
So I would assume whatever happens next, you'll be cooperating, you'll look at
Absolutely.
Whatever you have to do.
Absolutely.
At the request of the CFTC.
Ron, I think that's really important. We are going to continue to look at this complaint that the Department of Justice and the CFTC have now come out with and see what new information they have, and for sure we're going to cooperate. For us, there's nothing more important than market integrity. And integrity of the marketplace, if you don't have that, you don't have a credible market. We're a public company. 80% of our revenue is derived from trade. This is the most important thing to me and to the entire organization, is the integrity of the marketplace. We will not compromise any part of the business, in lieu of market integrity.
Paul Volcker raised the issue, and this has been discussed in the past, about combining CFTC and SEC or having one big regulatory oversight body. Does that make sense to you? Should we be pursuing that now?
That has been talked about long before Mr. Volcker brought it up many years ago. So whether you were to combine agencies for efficiency reasons or for regulatory reasons, you'd have to flush all those out. But I would think there's many people in Washington that do believe, me being one of them, that having the separate agencies makes sense. The Commodity Futures Trading Commission, the Agricultural Committee in the Senate and in the House, both have a deep understanding of our business, and they're the oversight for those agencies. If you were to combine the CFTC into the SEC, there's many people who believe that this dynamic industry, which has grown 20% year over year for the last 25 years, will get lost in the shuffle being combined with the securities industry. The great economist Milton Friedman once said, if you do not have futures markets today, you would need to invent them. That's how important they are to the fabric of the global marketplace, including the United States. So I would hate to see something like that get lost in the shuffle.
I guess the one issue that we're going back to, and we went back to this years ago, right after the flash crash, is this idea of losing investor confidence in the markets. You could have this disruption, and now there's still questions that you and I are talking about right now. What in the world needs to be done so that we never see something like this again, and people don't have to worry when they're putting their money in the markets?
Rhonda, unfortunately, there's bad actors in everywhere we walk in life. And unfortunately, there's bad actors in the marketplace. We all do our best to police it to the best of our ability. As I said before, you could put a policeman on every corner and someone's still going to try to commit a crime. That's just the nature of the human being. Investor confidence is something that's critically important to us, but if you look at the marketplace today, in the level playing field that it presents today because of the electronification of the marketplace, there's no advantages to certain participants. Deep pools of liquidity, more efficient now than ever. They've grown more in the last several years than ever. So you have to look at a lot of the positives that have gone on in the marketplace over the last couple of years. And I think that's really where we need to keep our focus.
Terry Duffy of the CME, good to talk to you again.
Thank you, Rhonda.